What's good? What's good, man? Let's get into it. Let's talk about the Houston Texans, people. And let's talk about the fact that they're vastly overrated, that people need to chill out with the whole CJ Stroud, Houston Texans, Super Bowl contender stuff. Listen, let me tell y'all something, man. Let me tell y'all something. Let me look this up while I'm doing this. Listen, I try to tell y'all this year, and you can go look it up, the Houston Texans meltdown. I try to tell y'all, let's pump the brake on the Houston Texans. Let's pump the brake on them. Let's chill out. Let's see what happens. But everybody's like, oh, you're a hater. You don't know anything. You just don't like CJ Stroud. Even though I said CJ Stroud was the best quarterback coming out of that draft over Bryce Young. But, it is what it is. But I want to review something, right? So the Houston Texans throughout this year barely beat the Colts. The Colts should have won that game. I had the Colts in the upset, but barely beat the Colts. Barely beat the Bears. If Roma Doomsday catches that ball in the end zone, that's a win for the Bears. But, you guys beat the Bears, got smoked by the Vikings, barely beat the Jacksonville, and barely beat Buffalo. Buffalo came back, and that game's going to be very key. You blew out the Patriots, whoop-de-doo. You won cookie for that. You lost the Packers, and you barely beat the Colts. Barely beat the Colts and got smoked by the Jets. And I want to highlight this Bills game. Shout out to my boy Mafia King. Shout out to my boy Valley and his girl Linz. They're Bills fans. But I want to highlight something. Ever since Nico Collins went down, this dude CJ's looked like a straight bum. Has anybody noticed that? Am I the only one that's noticing that? Ever since Nico Collins went down, and he's on IR, I don't know when he's coming back, but he's on IR. This dude, CJ Stroud, look like a bum, 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 bum. He's looked like a bum, and no one's talked about it. No one has talked about it. And listen, look, I like CJ Stroud. I don't know who this Nico Collins singer is. Looks like a queer to me. And listen, look, I like CJ Stroud. I really do. I mess with CJ Stroud. Go look at my videos on CJ Stroud. I said he was going to be the best coming out of college. I said he's an up-and-coming star. Hell, I'll put him in the top 5 over Burrow and Justin Herbert. But let's call a spade a spade. I said it. He will have a down year. And besides the Patriots game and the first half of the Bills game, he hasn't been that impressive. He really hasn't been that impressive at all. It seems like the league finally has tape on him. And it seems like the league finally has tape on him. Defense, I'm not really going to take a dump all over. D'Amico Ryans is doing his job on defense. It's Bobby Slowick, who is beyond horrible. I'm sorry, Bobby Slowick ain't it. You're not getting any coach jobs. You should have took the coach jobs last year, Bobby Slowick, because this offense looks horrendous. Because I don't care if Nico Collins is out. You had Stephon Diggs, you had Tank Dell, and you had Joe Mixon, you had Dalton Schultz, and you guys still couldn't put up points. Now that Diggs is out, what are y'all going to do? And it shouldn't even matter if Diggs was in or out. You have Tank Dell. You know how many, you really think Mahomes, Allen, Lamar would kill to have Tank Dell? For real, do you guys realize like the top 3 quarterbacks in the league whose number 1 wide receivers consist of Amari Cooper, Zay Flowers, and Xavier Worthy, or a washed up DeAndre Hopkins and Mahomes, they will kill to have Tank Dell. Yet CJ Stroud had Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and Stephon Diggs, and Dalton Schultz, and Joe Mixon. And look at this. Look at this, bro. Look at this. Look at this. Barely beat the Colts. Barely beat the Bears. Barely beat the Texans. Barely beat the Colts again. Lost to the Packers. Lost to the Jets. Got blown out by the Vikings. Like, what are we talking about here, bro? And you know what? We'll give you a cookie for beating on the Patriots. Whoop-de-doo. That's like some big 6'5" guy beating up the special needs kid in school after he just got his butt whooped by the other 6'5" basketball player. So we'll give you a cookie, Houston. But Houston, you got a problem. You got a problem. And why is no one talking about this? Why? And I even said it before the season, and people were like, oh, you're just a hater, the Super Bowl contender, CJ this, CJ that. CJ what? CJ what? Houston Texans what? And let's keep it all the way for real. Let's keep it all the way for real, bro. If you guys weren't in your division, would you guys really be that nice? If Jacksonville didn't fall off and they were competitive like they were against you guys, would y'all be really in that division? Let's not forget last year before Trevor Lawrence got injured, the Texans were second in that division. They were literally second in that division. Jacksonville fell off. I don't know how, but they fell off. If y'all were in the Baltimore Ravens division, y'all fourth, at best third. If y'all was in the Bills division, y'all second. If y'all was in the Chiefs division, y'all might be third because you got the Chiefs and the Chargers. You guys have the worst division in your whole conference. That's the only reason why y'all gonna make the playoffs. Y'all gonna make the playoffs, but Baltimore, Buffalo, the Chiefs, hell, even the Chargers with their run game could beat y'all. They could beat y'all. Pittsburgh, they can beat y'all. That's a fact. They can beat y'all. Hold the Houston Texans accountable. This was the darling team coming into the NFL. This was, CJ and D'Amico and all this, that, and third. And listen, look, I like the Houston Texans. I like D'Amico. I like CJ Stroud. But let's call a spade a spade. I called this a year ago. They will take I might have been wrong. They didn't have a meltdown. But they have taken, there's a clear difference between last year and this year. And I'm sorry, CJ, if you're that guy, you had Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell. Like, forget Nico. Let's forget about Diggs going out with ACL, whatever. You had Diggs, Dalton Schultz, Joe Mixon, who I know who's been in and out in the lineup, but still decent enough. And you had Tank Dell, and you barely winning. You still got Tank Dell. You still got Joe Mixon, Tank Dell. Hold on, time out. Before I end this video, I want to see something because I don't watch Thursday Night Football. Thursday Night Football is gay, so I want to see something. Maybe I'm missing something. Let's look at this box score real quick. Box score. So Joe Mixon did play. Okay, so Joe Mixon did play. Joe Mixon had 24 carries for 106 yards. CJ Stroud, 11 for 30, 191, no touchdowns. So you have Joe Mixon, Dalton Schultz, and Tank Dell, and you still can't produce. Shame, shame, shame. That's my thoughts. What are yours? RJ out.